right? Whether it's you looking for a service provider, a collaborative partner, whatever. We got to always approach any situation with an understanding. First of all, due diligence. Do your due diligence.
Yes.
Check these folks
Mm-hmm.
out.
That's
I
right.
know so many people that get sucked in and pulled into hype only to realize that it's smoke and mirrors. Then they want to call a me or another attorney and say, well, these people told me that they were going to give me this and it cost me 15 grand, because that's sometimes how it happens. It cost me 15
Mm-hmm.
grand. It cost me 20 grand. Ask questions.
Yeah.
Ask questions. I talk to people all the time and I always tell them, check me out. I think I shared this. I know I've shared this. I don't know if it was on Real Perspectives or somewhere else, but I was saying that it's been a number of times where I tell people, listen, if you want to check me out, I'm a member of the Alabama Bar. This is my Alabama Bar number. So you could contact the bar, just to see if I have any disciplinary actions, things like that. Not one person to this day has done that. Now, I've been running my business since 2009. Because the reason I know is because I asked them. Now, unless they're not truthful, but why wouldn't you be? Because I encouraged you to do it. Because here's the thing, I think sometimes we're taught to be polite, right? And we're taught to not to challenge, not to question. Listen, I'm telling you right now, because if you don't question, you're gonna get caught up in the pimp game, period. People have to
Absolutely.
realize, listen, the key to sales, I've said it, I don't say anything different than anybody else, is pain and pleasure points. The what we're telling you is don't let those same things cause you to be exploited, which is where your discernment and your due diligence comes in.
Absolutely. And it's just a must, though, because when you're talking about giving someone your hard earned dollars, you know what I mean? I think that you deserve better than to just trust that a person can just come and work these wonders and miracles and you really haven't checked them out. You really haven't checked them out. I think that that's something that we should even start teaching our children. You think about when you get ready to move about a home and you're going into new neighborhoods, you want to check the school systems out. You want to check the crime out. People who have a desire to develop entrepreneurships and to do collaborative efforts with people, and they look good on paper. They really do. They look good on their flyers or what have you. But I think that in a case like that, if you're really trying to win a customer, then they will welcome those times to meet with you, to communicate. 15 minutes, 20 minutes can tell you a lot about a person. You can get that connection. And please don't override your spirit. Let me just put it that way. Don't let your spirit be starved so that you're not listening to your inner man, because your inner man will literally tell you when you're not vibing with a person. And sometimes it doesn't mean that they are horrible. It means that's not your service provider and there's no gelling there. And if you get that, disconnect, and it's no loss. You know what I mean? But you can't allow yourself to keep going forward with a person when there's no vibe. You can already tell me and this person are not connecting. And it's something about that. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. And then try to build a tribe of people who are integral so that they can refer you out to people that they know that time has proven that they are absolutely integral, because you're putting your money out there. You're trusting even some of your personal business. Particularly when you've got to trust someone with sensitive documents and your bank records and all of those kinds of things, man. You do not want to get pimped out because somebody saw that you were desperate.
Oh yeah, and that's what it goes down to. And one of the things that I always tell, my clients, that Mario, this because y'all all know, Mario and I do a lot of work together. But one of the
Yeah,
things that I always tell my people is that you got to always be willing to walk away from the table. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
you listen, the rules of negotiation is this. You go in understanding what your must-haves, right? What your must-haves are,
Hmm.
what your maybes are, and what your absolutely nots are, right? So here's the thing. You got to leave with the must-haves, right? But you also cannot leave with the absolutely nots. See, that's the thing that we don't get. I've had situations where people would say, okay, I can commit to XYZ. And they really can't, Mario. They can commit to X and Y, but Z, they kind of like waiting on God.
Absolutely.
Nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, don't make the commitment to Z if you can't communicate. But see, what happens is that's where the pimp game come in.
That's right.
Because there's somebody lurking, realizing, oh, they ain't got Z.
Right.
They're gonna come try to give you Z, see. And that's where the come in.
Absolutely. So you know what? About a week ago, I had someone to look at something that I posted and made an appointment. So they scheduled to do the free consultation. And in that 20-minute period of time, I knew that what this client or potential client needed was something I couldn't provide. Now, their state, if I was that pimp, I would have took all Cuz's money. Do you hear me? I would have took her down through there. And I ain't gonna even lie, if I was that kind of dude, all right? If I had that pimp mentality, I could have fed her enough stuff to keep her as a high-paying client because she was desperate for the help. But you know what? The fact of the matter is that I couldn't help her. I absolutely couldn't. And what I did was I called my friend Stephanie and asked her, can you please help? You know, you and I talked about Stephanie. Okay, we got somebody that I know, somebody that works in that field, and she's better equipped for that. Because you know what? When you are greedy, you will play that game. When you have no empathy for or integrity in your business, you will do that versus saying, I can't help you, but let me see if I can find someone who's better suited for your need. Because sometimes we just don't have it all. And so even your live earlier today, LeTonya, you made a great point. And guys, if you're on here and you didn't see her live earlier, you need to go back and see when you talked about 3 types of entrepreneurs. You talked about the finder, the minder, and the grinder. The finder, the minder, the grinder. And we talked about the fact that no entrepreneur is all 3. Because trying to be all 3 will get you out the earth quicker than anything in the earth. And that's for real. You have to be able to find it. I'm not going to go into the video. You guys need to go look at it. But the fact of the matter is when you go to a business owner and you looking at them and they're the finder, the minder, and the grinder, they are the wherewithal of all things. Beware. Because a good business owner and a great service provider is going to specifically tell you that's outside the scope of what I provide. That means that they got your best interest at heart. And you ought to be able to leave there respecting that because they were honest enough not to take your money. Because what they can do is you can get it started signing contracts and you get bound by that. Then we got to go find a LeTonya Moore and be like, yo, can you please help them because they signed this contract because they were under duress like that. So that's why you got to calm down before you go in and be able to say, let me be sure I'm clear about what I need and don't let me go in looking desperate. So this particular lady emailed me back and she said, you know, Mario, thank you so much for referring me out. I'm glad you were honest with me because I've spent thousands of dollars trying to get someone to help me. And she says, I don't work now. My dad, gives me money and he's telling me that he's not going to give me any more money. You know why? Because she's been pimped out. She's been totally pimped out. Now, see, again, if I was that pimp, I would say, well, hold on. We finna work you and your daddy. We finna get you and your daddy because I'm gonna help you. But see, again, that's so wrong, and that's gonna come back. Whether you call that sowing and reaping or karma, either way, it's the same thing. So I really honestly understand, and this is why we work so well together, because we're saying to you, warning comes before destruction. It really does. And so tonight, many of you can consider yourselves warned before you get into these things. The New Year's coming up, everybody's going to have all these deals. Everybody's going to be able to give you a fresh start. I can fix your credit and I can do all. I ain't trying to go in nobody's lane, but I'm simply saying you got to be able to do some due diligence before you go to them, knowing what the law is about correcting your credit. Those are things you need to know prior. because they'll be done sold you some dead person social security number and you get carted off to jail. And then I don't know what LeTonya can do about that.
I can't do nothing about that. I can refer them to a number of A-list, I call them my A-list, my A-list criminal attorneys, but I can't.
Yeah, this is serious business though, guys. This is serious business.
And it's interesting that you bring that up, because yes, we all want a fresh start, at the beginning of the year, but honestly, you should just do a fresh start like all the time. So
yeah.
At the end of the day, you really gotta just be so alert.
That's it. Conscious.
Like, people slide past you all the time, and if you're like me, like I tend to be the type of person that I'm not going to necessarily call people out. Like I can know you throwing shade. I know I could feel like you shady. We don't jive, but I know once the conversation is over, we are not going to have any dealings. And I ain't mad though. See, that's the thing that I want people to understand, because see, when you allow it to make you angry, you really got to go see Mario at that point, because now you got to deal with that turmoil, right? You got to deal with all that.
Right.
Because the thing is, you got to go into every situation detached. I've had lots of situations where, man, in business, I've had situations personally where, I just been dogged out in the process, right? It's just like, oh man, I can't believe this. But I had to realize that I can't hold that.
Right.
And I don't want people to feel like if you have fallen prey to some of the situations that we've talked about, either in this live or other videos, that there's something wrong with you. We do this because we want y'all to know, like, look, this comes across my desk. This comes across Mario's desk. So we just going to tell y'all. Now, listen, we could be pimping too now and just not say anything. And just tell people will come to us when you have this issue. But what I want you guys to do for the rest of 2018, 2019, and beyond is be vigilant. When you talk to somebody, as you're talking to potential providers, I want you to ask them, okay, let's talk outcomes, right? Mario and I have done several interviews. One of the things that I ask people is, so what's the outcomes? You had this situation. You tell us about the scenario. What was the outcome for the client? What?
Absolutely.
Half of them have been able to tell us.
That's true.
So, see, the thing is, be honest. This is what I provide, right? I haven't provided enough of these services to really determine measurable outcomes. Okay.
Right.
Then cool. Right? Then we can deal with it. Clinton says emotion is detrimental in business. You have to separate your emotions from all business dealings. And Clinton, I couldn't see the rest of what he said, but I know he do, because see, he deal with real estate. So he definitely gonna have to be emotionally detached when people have him at an open house all day and don't nobody put a don't nobody.
That's right, Clinton. Yeah, absolutely. But you know what, LeTonya, really for real, like in life coaching and the clients that I see with the spiritual component, I can say even out of my own experience that I have had people, even clients, to try to rob me or to try to, get this little free thing based on me first being a pastor and this sort of thing. So everything is free. And I can be very bitter about that, because sometimes I have gone way beyond the business and not, really trying to make them a client. One of the things you work with me about is, Mario, you have to recognize the business side of what you do. And so I could get so easy. And then when it's all done, it's like I've given them everything. Now I can be very bitter about that. But what I've learned to do is to recognize the fact that not only, because sometimes the prostitute pimps the pimp.
And they be holding back that money.
That's right. You see what I'm saying?
Listen, they done did a couple tricks on the side in the alley that
they
tell you about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what I mean? And so I could take that. But what I've learned to do is to recognize that you can get emotionally tied up, depending upon the nature of your business. You can get emotionally